All right, so you two sent me the email and said number 2 and number 5. So I'm looking at the quiz here. Let's get this stuff out of the way. And number 2 and number 5, they're actually very similar questions. So it makes sense that we were struggling with both of them. And they're both you're going to use this chart right here. So this guy right here is going to be where you're going to be good to go. So let's look at these problems and see what we can do. So number 2 says the parent function f of x equals x cubed is transformed into the function all of this. Which of the following describes the transformation? So using this thing over here is what you're going to have to do. So if you kind of think of that as like your f of x, let's get a halfway decent color here. You can kind of see that. So what happened to this g of x to make it change? So it started off as x cubed. So what happened? So in order to make our f of x equal this bottom part, so we would have had to put a plus 6 on the inside. So that's going to be f of x plus 6. And then we have a minus 12 on the outside, right? Minus 12. So then when we look up here, we've got the minus h on the inside here. So that means this is going to be our negative h. So our negative h is plus 6. So our h is going to be a negative 6. So we've got h equals negative 6. And then we've got our plus k on the outside of our function. Here we've got a minus 12 on the outside of our function. So our k is going to be equal to minus 12. So once we have these two values right here, then we just look up at our chart. So our h is less than 0. So it is a horizontal translation, left h units. So it is going to be left 6 units. So if I come back over here to my answers, the parent function is translated 6 units to the right. No, we want to go to the left. 6 units to the right, 6 units to the left, 6 units to the left. Okay, so it's one of those two. So then we got our k equals negative 12. That's going to be our k value. So we look at our k. It is also a negative. So we're going to be looking at this part right here. So there's a vertical translation down k units. So it's going to go down 12 units. 12 units down. So your answer for that one is going to be D. So again, we're using this chart to figure out how these functions change. So then if we go over to number 5, it's a similar but still different. So the parent function f of x equals 8x is transformed into the function this right here. Which of the following describes the transformation? So again, let's break this down. So if we have f of x, how do we make f of x equal this new function? So first thing we got to do, oops, didn't want to do that, is, let's deal with, so we have the x to the 8th. So then we multiply that, just the x to the 8th, to our function. So we've got the 5. So this is another way that you can write it. F of x equals x to the 8th. And then we've got the plus 11 right here, which will just go on the outside. So this might be an easier way of looking at it. Technically, I should not have that there, but that should be g of x. So this way might help you connect it better to our function up here. So we've got a 5 out front. So that's going to be our a right there. So in this case, our a is equal to 5. So then again, we have a plus 11. So that's going to be our k function again. So, but this time, our k function is positive, so which means it's going to be a vertical translation up k units. So k is equal to 11. So our a is equal to 5. A is greater than 1. So it is a vertical stretch by a factor of a being 5. So then we come over here. We have, okay, the parent function is compressed by a factor of 5. That's wrong. The parent function is compressed. No, the parent function is stretched by a factor of 5. So stretched by a factor of 5, and then moved down 11 units. So that part is wrong. So the parent function is stretched by a factor of 5, stretched by a factor of 5, and moved up 11 units. So that one would be D. So this will be available on the quiz that you have. I mean, you'll be taking it at home, so I can either send that to you or post it in Canvas, whichever one is easier. So use this guy to help you out. So hopefully that makes sense. If you two have any other problems on this quiz, again, I think just email me and I will make this quick video for you, and hopefully that will give you the opportunity to do well. So just let me know, and we'll go from there. Good luck.